Hello, and welcome. Welcome to the Western Association for College Admissions Counseling Virtual College Fair. We have a killer lineup of institutions for you to hear from this evening. But before I turn it over to them, I do have a couple of housekeeping items for you tonight. So number one, this is a webinar. That means your camera and your microphone are off, so our panelists cannot see or hear you this evening. But we do know that you're going to have questions, and so make sure you use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Note the college or university that you're directing your question to, and then also type in your question. That'll make it much easier for our panelists to address your questions in the appropriate way. This is a really fun way to learn about colleges and universities. So this session is being recorded, and all of the sessions that happened tonight were recorded. So we hope that you'll take some time in the coming days and weeks also to review all of these sessions at strivescan.com/WACAC. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our panelists. I first have the opportunity to introduce to you Chapman University. Take it away, Carlos, whenever you're ready.
Hi, folks. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to go ahead and move that hydro flask. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up this presentation. Well, as you heard, my name is Carlos Leiva. I'm one of the admission counselors for Chapman University. This is my third year, or actually my fourth year now, going in as an admission counselor. I'm also a former student of Chapman. I graduated back in spring of 2018 with a degree in computer science and a minor in music. So very unique experience. And I'll kind of talk about that flexibility that Chapman students get in the classroom. But first things first, for those who are just hearing about Chapman for the very first time, there are a few things to kind of keep in mind. So when talking about Chapman, we are a private medium-sized liberal arts institution. Very important attributes to recognize about us as a university. The more important one I like pointing out is the size factor. Being a medium-sized institution, you really do have a blend of both the large and smaller type campuses. Large in terms of our student body, small in terms of the class sizes, the access to professors that you get. So you can kind of see in terms of how many current undergraduate students are on campus, just a little bit over 7,600, but also that experience remains unchanged inside the actual classroom itself. You still have that same access to professors, getting to know them, and they get to know you as well. We are one of the oldest institutions in the state of California, founded back in 1861. Nice fun fact, we were actually founded the same date and time as Abraham Lincoln was inaugurated into office as president of the United States. And you can see what our representation looks like across the United States, its territories, as well as different countries. And I might want to say where we're from. So we are located in Orange, California. If you're not too sure where that is, just think of where Disneyland is and go about 6 miles south, and that's where you can find us. In terms of academics on campus and what you can look to study as well as have access to in the form of classes, minors, and different programs, these are all of our colleges on campus, and you'll be applying into a specific major, or if you're not entirely sure yet, you can apply as an undeclared student. With the exception of the very last bullet pointed college with our Fowler School of Law, you have access to the first 10, so as an undergraduate and graduate student. So with our interdisciplinary style of education, you'll have access to a lot of these colleges through your general education. If you end up declaring a second major, you'll have access to perhaps another college that you're thinking of, or perhaps a minor in some of these different schools. So with my particular experience being computer science, being in our Fowler School of Engineering, and then working my minor in our College of Performing Arts, that's definitely something that I was able to do on campus. And a lot of students have that liberty and flexibility in the classroom. But while it's very important to have that classroom experience, it's also just as important to have that experience outside of the classroom, whether that's getting involved in clubs and organizations. As you can see, there's a few different ways you can get involved through clubs such as Greek Life, Diversity and Cultural Organizations, religious and spiritual groups on campus, and a bunch of our leisure clubs, whether that's research. It's important to note that research isn't just something for the sciences anymore. Our programs within our School of Business, our College of Educational Studies, and even our College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences are involved in research. And if there's a certain topic that you would like to explore, all it takes is for you to reach out to our Office of Undergraduate Research or one of our professors who's interested in collaborating in that research with you, and we can get that started. Another form of involvement students like to get involved in is through community service and civic engagement. So whether that's through an on-campus facility, such as our campus community garden, or our alternative break a program which combines the idea of study abroad and community service into one, where you'll actually be going outside of the state of California or even in different countries to give service. And while we're on the topic of studying abroad and being out of the country, there are several options that you have when it comes to study abroad. Over 53% of students on campus have studied abroad at some point, and that can either be through a travel course, a semester abroad program, or through our semester at sea program, which is kind of like the Sweet Life on Deck if you've ever seen that show. So what's next? When it comes to talking about the admission process and the admission timeline, there's definitely going to be a lot of dates that get thrown at you, especially as you start considering different colleges and universities that may have different deadlines. So for Chapman specifically, I want you to focus on November 1st and January 15th. November 1st is our early action and early decision deadline. January 15th is regular decision. It's important to note the differences between early action and early decision, early action being non-binding, early decision being binding. There are going to be a few programs that have a priority deadline of November 1st. So that's going to be our film production, screen acting, theater performance, TV writing and production, our pharmacy program, and dance program. If you're interested in any of those programs, you should only be looking to apply by November 1st. Something in addition that you should know is that Chapman is a test optional institution. So if you would like to apply with a test score, please feel free to do so. But there is no pressure to have a test score in your application if you don't feel like it will help your chances at admission. If you are thinking about it, definitely feel free to shoot me an email. I'd be happy to have that conversation with you. And then last but definitely not least, the topics of financial aid. When it comes to cost of attendance for a private school, we're definitely at the top in terms of pricing. We can be pretty pricey overall, but we do try to help as much as we can with different forms of financial aid that we offer students. So that can either be through our merit scholarships, department scholarships, mission-driven awards, as well as need-based aid. All of our forms of financial aid are automatically reviewed at the time of admission. So there's no additional applications that you need to submit. The only one that does require an additional application or an application in general is our need-based aid. And so that's going to be the FAFSA. So once you submit the FAFSA, you'll be reviewed for all those different types of funding. And you can kind of see how much Chapman students are being awarded at the admission phase. And then in terms of current students on campus, around 86% are benefiting from some form of financial aid. Thank you everybody for your time, and I really appreciate it. Definitely looking forward to answering some questions later.
Carlos, thank you so much to you and Chapman University. Audience, don't forget, you can put any questions that you have in that Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen. Next up, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Santa Clara University. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much. Just a quick question. Everybody can see my screen?
We sure can.
Perfect. All right. Well, we are Santa Clara University. Thank you again for joining us today. For those of you who do know or do not know, Santa Clara is located at the heart of the Silicon Valley, a place known for innovation, technology, entrepreneurship. Part of being in the heart of the Silicon Valley also means that we are very close to major cities, which is San Jose, Santa Cruz, San Francisco. In terms of our student body, 55% of students come from California, 45% come from all over the world. Different states, 49 different states, 38 different countries. Something we are very proud about is that over 80% of our students do have at least one internship by the time that they graduate. And about 86% of our students are employed full-time in a graduate school or in a service program within 6 months of graduating. Our median salary for graduates stands at $65,000. And again, being in that heart of the Silicon Valley, this place of opportunities, our top employers include Google, Apple, Lookhead, Martin, Cisco, Facebook, you name it. Santa Clara is a Catholic Jesuit institution. Part of the Jesuit philosophy is educating the whole body, the whole person. This means educating your mind, your body, your spirit. And part of this is reflected in a lot of programs, a lot of opportunities for students, but something that is very highly reflected is our core curriculum. So as a student, you will be required to take an ethics course, a civic engagement course, a diversity course, and 3 religion courses. Do you have to be Catholic in order to attend Santa Clara University? No, you do not. As a matter of fact, 50% of our students classify themselves in the Common App as Catholic. 50% of the other students identify themselves as non-religion or from a different or no religion at all. Part of the Jesuit philosophy, again, is to allow students to explore the world, to study abroad, immersion programs. We offer all of those opportunities for our students. In terms of our education experience, our student body, around 5,500 is our student body for undergraduates. In terms of the classroom, we have an 11:1 student to faculty ratio. The average class is 23 students per class. Now, this is definitely a benefit. Santa Clara is my alma mater, so I can definitely tell you as an alumni that being a mid-sized university, having this opportunity of having small classes really gives you the opportunity to speak with your professors, to really get to know your professors likewise will get to know you. And this brings a lot of opportunities, for example, doing research along your professors. In terms of our retention rate, we have 95% retention rate. We are over the national retention rate. In terms of our four-year graduation rate, something we are very, very proud of, 88%. And for those of you who do or do not know, our national four-year graduation rate stands at 50%, and for public schools, 30%. So 88 is way above that national average. In terms of applications, so you will have to apply through the Common App. We have the three schools. You will either choose the College of Arts and Sciences, the Levy School of Business, or the School of Engineering. As a note, you may come in as undeclared, but by your second year, you do have to declare your major, just so that we know that you graduate on time. In terms of our GPA, we have an unweighted average GPA of 3.6, 3.9 for three schools. And in terms of our kind of review from the application, what we look at in the Common App, we have a very holistic review. Yes, we look at your academics, but we also look at your involvement. We look at your demonstrated interest. Tell us why you're interested in Santa Clara. Why would you be a good fit? And likewise, why would Santa Clara be a good fit for you? Recommendations is something that we look at. Your essay, very, very important. This year we are optional for tests, so you would not be penalized if you do not choose to submit your SAT, ACT scores. But again, very holistic review is what we approach. In terms of our deadlines, we have 4 different deadlines. Early Decision 1 and Early Action are due November 1st. Early Decision 2 and Regular Decision is due January 7th. Major difference, again, echoing what has already been mentioned. Early Decision and Early Action is that binding components. So Early Action is non-binding. Early Decision 1, Early Decision 2 is binding. Okay, we highly recommend you submit your FAFSA and your CSS profile. And in terms of the dates, we do have those dates located on our sau.edu. You can go ahead and look into that online webpage for more information regarding more detailed information of what you need to do in order to apply for Santa Clara. And these are just a couple of more resources for you. If you got any questions, again, please feel free to ask those questions. And all right, I think we got it.
Thank you so much to you and Santa Clara University. Next up, I have the pleasure of introducing Scripps College. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Thanks, Courtney. So hi, everyone. My name is Sinaida Reyes, and I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Admission at Scripps College. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. So I'm really excited to kind of share a little bit more about Scripps today. So a little bit about Scripps. We are a women's college, but don't let that scare you. We're surrounded by 4 other co-ed schools, so it's kind of like a buy one, get 4 free situation. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. So we are, again, our women's college, but we're about 1,000 students on our campus. Our average class size is 16 students, and our student to faculty ratio is 10:1. So it's definitely the kind of place where you're going to know your professor, and the professor might notice if you miss class, and really having this discussion-based setting where it's not really just being talked at, it's having those conversations with your peers and your faculty members. We're not really known for one specific department or one specific major at Scripps. Being a liberal arts college, I think all of us like to think that we have all of our majors are relatively strong. So for us, it just shifts in terms of our most popular majors, and they shift from biology, economics, English, politics, psychology, and media studies. They really do vary across the entire spectrum of academics. So, and I think that's definitely the benefit of being at a liberal arts college in terms of being also at Scripps. Like I mentioned earlier, we are part of the Claremont Colleges. So it's this buy one, get four free situation where you get to have the small interaction of a liberal arts college, but the resources of a large institution. So our students have access to over 2,000 classes. We share one academic calendar. My favorite thing that I always like to brag about in terms of the Claremont Colleges is the dining halls. So if you ever get tired of any of your dining halls at your specific school, no worries, because you can go to any of the other dining halls. And they each also have their own eatery. So really the consortium is however big or small you want to make it. The moment you cross the street, you're really at a different campus. So again, having the small liberal arts college experience with the resources of a large institution. We are located in Southern California in a small town named Claremont, which is unofficially known as the city of trees and PhDs. So where you might run into your faculty members and your peers, but also not feeling like you know everyone that's there at the same time as well. Being from Southern California, I am a little biased. So I think that there is definitely a lot of range where you can do you want to go to Joshua Tree to go stargazing, or you want to go to Disneyland or the beach or anything like that. It's accessible for you to kind of get across Southern California. For us at Scripps, you can bring your car, and that includes a first year student. If you don't have a car, you can rent a van through our Office of Student Engagement, and you block it out for however long time you need. You pay for gas and you're on your way. But if not too, we also have our Metro Link that all the Claremont colleges have access to. So it's like 10 to 15 minutes from the Scripps campus. So if you want to avoid LA traffic, which is truly horrible, this is one of the ways you do it. So there's definitely access to kind of explore Southern California. In terms of our academics, so this is where it gets a little confusing, I think, for us all in being in college admissions, or at least in my perspective, is that we use these similar language, but they all also have very different meanings. So for us at Scripps, our core curriculum is not our general education requirements. It falls under it. But the reason why we highlight it so much is because it's one of the ways we differentiate ourselves in terms of other women's colleges or the other Claremont colleges. And basically, it's a set curriculum that is dedicated to interdisciplinary learning. Because yes, it was great and dandy that women were going to college in the 1920s, but it wasn't enough. We wanted our students to have a very well-rounded education. So regardless of what field that they pursued, they could talk about a range of academic subjects. So in Core 1, it's looking at 16 to 18 academic subjects with faculty members, and kind of having those conversations through a common theme. So right now the theme is truth. And then the second one is looking more of a focused interdisciplinary setting. And then Core 3 is more of you actively applying that knowledge. So let's look at all these different academic subjects. Now let's see how you work together. Now let's see how they actively apply that knowledge. For majors, if you apply to Scripps, you're only stating your interest, so no need to worry about having it all figured out. If you do, great. If you don't, that's great too. For senior thesis, basically what that means is all of our Scripps students will be required to write a senior thesis or do research by the time that they graduate from Scripps. Our interim president always jokes about this, that at some colleges only honor students get to write a thesis, but at Scripps, all of our students are honor students. They all get to write a thesis. And again, they have access to the Claremont colleges in terms of being seminar and discussion based. In terms of campus life, the Scripps are the 5 C's, or however big you want to make it, because at Scripps, there are Scripps specific clubs, there's identity-based organizations. So it really just kind of is up to you and how you want to participate on your college campus. We do have a lot of programming on our campus, including our Screen on the Green movie nights. So we have a lot of greenery on the campus. No worries, it's all very eco-friendly. It's Bermuda Princess. So basically it's us being able to have the greenery, but not having to water it that much. So works well for us, but also too for the environment. And they get to vote for the movie, and it's on the lawn. For Scripps traditions, we have quite a few, but they really are personal in terms of us bringing our students to come together and thinking about how the reflection of Scripps, specifically through our Denison library doors, where you sign your name, and the next, keep it for historical reference, and the next time you go through these doors is when you graduate. And for study abroad, 60% of our students will study abroad. And then your financial aid does transfer over. I just quickly want to talk about a women's college experience as well. Just also recognizing that not all of our Scripps students identify as women. It is for marginalized gender identities, and that's still our goal. If you're the student who's like, I don't know how I feel about a women's college, join the club. Majority of our Scripps students are very similar in that way. But really, it's just a space where you feel like you are rooting for each other's own academic and personal success, while also thinking about the reflections and intersections of your own identity and having the resources to support you. These are our deadlines. We're committed to a holistic approach. We are SAT and ACT optional. So what I've been telling students is if you don't want to take it, don't take it. And if you do want to take it, go ahead. It really is up to your own decision. You will not be at a disadvantage if you do not take the SAT or the ACT. Yeah, and that's a little bit about Scripps. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Benita, thanks so much to you and Scripps College. Wow, we've heard from 3 great institutions, but we still have 3 to go. So next up, I'd like to introduce to you Whittier College. Take it away, Charlie, whenever you're ready.
All right, there we go. Now I'm unmuted and we can get going. Thank you. So, hey guys, my name is Charlie Newman. I'm one of the admission counselors over here at Whittier College, and I'm gonna go ahead and dive right into the presentation and get the most out of our time here. So first off, our location, similar to Scripps College that you just heard from, we are located in Los Angeles. We're right in between LA and Orange County. So really great kind of crosshairs of between things to do, whether it be going down to the beach. The nearest beach is Huntington, just a half-hour drive down. We're also close to Disneyland. Less popular, but equally as fun amusement park, Knott's Berry Farm is right there that I'm a big fan of visiting. And also the Hollywood, entertainment capital of the world. So if you want to do anything with film, writing, journalism, there's really no better place to do any of those things. So the location that we are in is rich and full of opportunities, but also our own campus and our academics, rich and full of opportunities. Here's our cheat sheet for all of our majors and minors in academic programs. Just to fill you in on those asterisks, the bullets that have an asterisk, you can only minor in those programs. The ones that are just a bullet, you can major or minor in those. A few things I want to point out on this list is that if you look down here, you can see our Engineering 3G program. We're partnered up with USC to have our students take 3 years of studies here at Whittier College and finish up getting their engineering degree 2 years at USC. So a bit of an accelerated track, and you get your degree at USC, which is a highly accredited school for engineering. We also have pre-professional programs, as you can see down here in the bottom right. So pre-health, pre-law, and the like. And we also have our self-designed major program, which is actually what I did as a Whittier College student. I graduated back in 2018, which feels like forever ago because of the pandemic, to be honest, but it really wasn't that long. And what I was able to do through this program is study business ethics. So if you look at our section here, it's alphabetical. So you'll see business ethics not on this list. And that kind of thing is what this program is great for. So I combine a lot of the business classes underneath this umbrella, some of the organizational leadership classes too, as you can see here, and some of the philosophy classes that really dealt with morals and ethics. And by combining the requirements from those different disciplines, I was able to create the business ethics major and major through it. A classmate of mine was able to combine some theater and music classes with the marketing classes underneath business and graduate with entertainment marketing because he wants to go and promote live events across the country and even internationally too. So it really lets you hone in on a specific field of study you want to be looking at. And some fast facts and fast figures here. We are a pretty small school, only about 1,700 students. We're trying to grow that number a little bit over the next 4 years, maybe get to be about 2,000, but still quite small. And with that, we have an average class size of only about 19 students, and it really gets to even lower than that as you progress in your college career. Your junior and senior year, you'll be looking at, as you're taking those higher level courses, classes about maybe 10 to 12 students large. So really, really making it more of a workshop than a class. You have a lot of one-on-one attention with your professors, any kind of guidance and mentorship you need. They're your resources for all of that assistance. Student to faculty ratio 12 to 1, just to further support that one-on-one conversation, the group discussion you're going to be having with the whole class, but that one-on-one with the professor, really getting to know you and know them and how you two work together. Really great for anyone that feels they may need some more individualized attention. And then as far as the types of students that we see at the college, we're incredibly diverse. We actually got these numbers in 2020. Whittier College is among the top 15% for the most diverse liberal arts schools in the nation. So we're extremely proud of that. You really find a true reflection of the diversity you see in Los Angeles at Whittier College's campus. So students from all different walks of life, different socioeconomic backgrounds, gender identities, ethnicities, and these students bring these backgrounds and perspectives to the classroom, right? So in these discussion-based sessions, these roundtable conversations, they're bringing their own input and their own background. It really elevates the amount of learning you're able to walk away with. When I was a student there, I felt like, of course, I was learning from the professors, but I was also learning a substantial amount from my peers too. So you're getting that academic growth, that intellectual growth, but also the social and mental growth just about interpersonal relationships and seeing things differently because of the lenses you're getting exposed to from your peers. And of course, it's always nice to know how you can get some help for paying for college, especially for these private schools. So very first thing I want to talk about is our John Greenleaf Whittier Scholarship. This is the namesake of our school and the namesake of the town too, which is a fun fact. And this scholarship is one that students are automatically evaluated for as soon as they're admitted. And it ranges from $15,000 to over $30,000 a year, which is well over half of our sticker price. And it's done through both merit and also some extracurriculars, letters of recommendation, essentially everything that we use to look at your application, we also use for the scholarship as well. Need-based aid too, so we want to make sure you submit your FAFSA as soon as possible. That way you get all the juicy details about all the federal grants and loans you have access to. And then we have some additional scholarships that students can apply for separately. So you can find the information for these scholarships and how to apply for them on our website. Really great information. I just don't want to spend too much time talking about just the money portion of it, because we have a little bit more to go to. So the admission process, we are also a school that's on the Common App. So really easy if you already have some going. All you have to do is just click to add Whittier, and with a push of a button, you send it to every college on your list there on Common App. But as far as the specific elements that we need from you, we need a personal statement or a college essay, letter of recommendation, either from a teacher or counselor, someone that really knows you well, can be a good cheerleader for you. Transcripts, so of course, both high school transcripts, but also if you took any college courses or you are a transfer student, please send in those college transcripts too, because we can get you further ahead in your Whittier College career by getting you some credit for those classes you already took. And we are test optional too for the SAT and ACT. So if you want to include your test scores, we'd love to see them. Otherwise, we will review your application as if it's complete without those scores. These are averages, so to give you some ideas for maybe what you want to think about if you want to be test optional or not. These are the averages from last year. And the deadline's right here, November 15th for early action. So coming up pretty fast already. It's going to be there in a blink of an eye. And regular decision is February 1st. So with that, here's our contact information, and I will go ahead and let you guys take a quick screenshot of that as I pass it back to Courtney to introduce the next guest.
Thanks, Charlie, to you and Whittier. Next up, I have the pleasure of introducing Pitzer College. Take it away, David, whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much. Just screen. Hi folks, my name is David Gervin. I'm the Associate Director of Admission at Pitzer College. My pronouns are he, him. Thank you. I know you're probably seeing a lot of schools tonight, but excited to showcase Pitzer College. So just a little bit about Pitzer College. We have about 1,100 students. We're a small private liberal arts college, also in Claremont. So you got a sneak peek of the Claremont Colleges from my colleague at Scripps. At Pitzer, we are the youngest of the 5 within the Claremont Consortium. So we have about 40 majors and 20 minors. We're particularly known a lot within the humanities, but some of our most popular majors also include things like environmental analysis, political studies, media studies, while at the same time, you're in the great consortium, so you could even major across all 5 colleges, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. Pitzer, what kind of is the distinction between us as a small arts institution is our emphasis on social justice and creating socially responsible citizens of the world. So the type of student interested in Pitzer definitely not only wants to grow academically, but they also want to grow personally and professionally and want to make their own community and their communities back home and the global community a better place, as cheesy as that is. It's true, because we were founded in the 1960s, really at the height of the civil rights movement, Chican X movement, hippie culture. So I think when it comes to social justice, that's not just an admissions buzzword, it very much is the experience of Pitzer and as Pitzer student. So when it comes to kind of mentioning a little bit of this already, we were founded kind of at that time. The Claremont Colleges really are, when it comes to the consortium, is the only intentionally designed college consortium. So there are a few other in the US, but very much wanted to create kind of the resources of a larger institution while still keeping tight-knit communities within them, each with their own kind of distinctions. So mentioned Claremont before, but we're 35 miles east of Los Angeles in the city of trees and PhDs. So it's very much a college town geared towards college students. And it's very much a walkable area between the colleges since they're right next to each other as well. But I think when you're looking for type of schools, you're looking for fit, and Pitzer's mission really sets the tone for who we want to be as a community. I think that we really love the fact that we are a younger college, not steeped in certain traditions, and that Pitzer students really drive the conversation to make our community better. We understand that there's no such thing as a perfect college community, but Pitzer students want to make it as best as possible. And I think those guiding principles really come from our 5 core values, and they come across in many different ways for our students, but especially academically and within the student life when it comes to things like social responsibility, environmental sustainability, integral to understanding, basically students that don't want the same experience that they had in high school, and also don't want a college kind of cookie cutter experience where it's kind of, here's your 4 years and these are the classes you take and get your degree and go. They want to create and find their own passions at the same time as really staying true to who they are, which I think is a really great benefit to our community. When it comes to location, so we are located, like I said, 35 miles. So I'm a visual person, so I like to showcase a little map of campus, showcasing downtown Los Angeles, Disneyland, Huntington, all the great things of Southern California. I'm originally from Boston, so never gets old how good the weather is in Claremont, as well as all the great things nearby. One of my favorite events Pitzer students do is called Ski Beach Day, where in the morning they'll be skiing, and then in the afternoon they'll be going down to the beach, because you can do that here in Southern California. So I think when it comes to the resources, both on campus and within the area, from internships in Los Angeles to national parks nearby to the big Disney fans, you definitely find a lot of great opportunities nearby. So I mentioned kind of the consortium. So these are the other institutions. I definitely got a nice sneak peek. I love the kind of you get 1 buy 1 get 4 free kind of experience, as Scripps mentioned. But truly, our colleges are right next to each other. The joke between Harvey Mudd and Pitzer is there's only a bush that separates us. So it's a very walkable campus. It's 1 square mile, so you can walk from one side to the other in 20 minutes. We do guarantee housing for all 4 years for students, so it's very much a residential college campus. And it's great because you'll be taking classes at these other campuses while at the same time staying true to the Pitzer community. So it doesn't feel so small that you know all 1,100 students at the same time, because you're in that consortium with almost about over 6,000 students as well. And then lastly, kind of talking about a little bit more of the Pitzer experience, I think really like staying true to the core values of what we want to represent as an institution. These are our 5 core values: social responsibility, intercultural understanding, interdisciplinary learning, student engagement, and environmental sustainability. So maybe if one of those really stays true to who you are, you can showcase that within the application, but you don't have to have all 5. Definitely we find students might come in thinking they're passionate about one, and then that might shift, or kind of the additions, but Pitzer students definitely are passionate about at least one of these 5 core values. And I think that comes across, as I said, in different ways. Certainly when it comes to global experiences and intercultural understanding, that's very popular for our students. I look forward to the post-pandemic day when our students can study abroad at a higher capacity than what they're typically doing. But at the same time, I think the core values really are what makes Pitzer unique. And I think that these are the kind of the separation piece, especially considering the other liberal arts institutions. And then lastly, I mentioned the Pitzer experience. So student life is very key. If you're the type of student that likes to stay involved, Pitzer is a great campus. Sometimes I wonder when our students sleep because they're so engaged. We have over 290 clubs across the 5 colleges. So while there's over 70 at Pitzer just specifically, that's another benefit of the student life experience being a part of a college consortium. When it comes to the resources, from the 17 eateries, as mentioned, to over 11 different intercultural identity centers, to many different facets that students can stay engaged in, it's really key. Just quickly about the admissions policy. So my favorite thing to talk about, Pitzer has been test optional since 2003, but as of this year, we are test free. So even if you wanted to submit SAT or ACTs, we will not take that into consideration for our admissions policy. So we don't even track the data. Even if you put it in your common application, we won't get that information. So I think being a social justice minded school, we're very aware of kind of standardized testing and how that comes into play, particularly for socioeconomic status. So we're pleased that we were able to put through that policy. And that was also very much student driven in addition to in the admissions policies. So when this comes to being on a college campus where students have a voice, I love how much Pitzer students stay engaged. And we've definitely been ranked some of the most politically active students across the nation. And that definitely stays true when it comes to our student government. So looking forward to seeing what questions you have. Definitely feel free to utilize the chat box, and I'll put my contact information in there as well if you happen to have any questions specific to Pitzer.
Thanks so much, David, to you and Pitzer College. Our final presentation tonight will be from Marymount, California University. Take it away, Armando, whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much. Just want to confirm that everybody can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Well, I just want to thank everybody for your time. My name is Armando Mendez. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions at Marymount, California University. Marymount, California, if you haven't heard of it, it's because we're a very small private university, a Catholic school in Southern California, in Los Angeles, California, a community called Rancho Palos Verdes. I, in addition to being the International and Graduate Admissions Advisor, Assistant Director of Admissions as well, I'm also actually one of the 700 students that go to Marymount, California at the moment. I'm trying to obtain my MBA degree, which I finished this semester, so I'm very happy about that. But I've enjoyed tremendously my time at Marymount, California, and I'm a very big fan of the school. So we're located right next to the ocean on top of a mountain that overlooks Catalina Island. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, a very small school, less than 700 students total. It's an ideal place to go to school to study liberal arts. We only have a few programs, and I'll show you guys in just a couple minutes what those programs are. But we're a very safe campus. Rancho Palos Verdes is one of the safest communities in all of LA County. It's also the second richest community. So it's a place where it's very beautiful, very isolated, but not too far away from everything else that you want in the city of Los Angeles. Just a few minutes from downtown, about 30 minutes from downtown. And the university has been established since 1968. In 1968, we were actually sister schools with Loyola Marymount, California, which is a little bit down the road. And then in 2010, about 11 years ago, we separated from them and we became an independent university. We were a two-year community college until then. And now we offer bachelor programs, master programs, and we're completely independent, but we still have that same name of Marymount. We were actually the community college that students in Southern California would like to go to when they were not ready for a big school like Loyola or USC or UCLA or Pepperdine, or they didn't have the grades yet or academic proficiency to be able to attend those universities. They came to Marymount, California because we were able to give them the attention that they needed to succeed, which is one of the reasons why we're still one of the best universities to go to if you're an okay student, but you really want to become a great student because you're going to get the resources and attention that you need. That's really who we are and what we do better than almost any other school I know of. We are a Catholic university. We like to say we're Catholic with a small c because of the fact that there are no religious requirements. You don't have to be Catholic to attend Marymount, California University. About 50% of our students are Catholic and they do attend Mass, but it's not a requirement at all. The only thing tied to our identity other than our morals and the way we view ourselves is really you have to take one theology course, which is like the history of religion as an undergraduate. So if you were to look at a map of the city of Los Angeles, if any of you guys are familiar with Los Angeles, it's a fantastic city. It's a huge city. We are located in the bottom left corner, right by the ocean. It's called South Bay, right next to Long Beach and other beaches like Hermosa and Redondo Beach and Manhattan Beach. Again, we're about 30 minutes from downtown Los Angeles, about 25 minutes from LAX, and about 25 minutes from Disneyland. So very ideally located so that if you're trying to get an internship or a job at any of these types of locations, which a lot of our students currently work at, you can find transportation there or drive there yourself or use public transportation pretty easily. So it's ideally located. Again, when you're there, you feel like you're on an island, going to school in this beautiful, very safe place. And then just down the road is the city of Los Angeles if you want to go explore and have fun. I don't think I have to tell you guys about how amazing Los Angeles is in general, but not just because of the weather and the entertainment and the beaches and all of that, but also just because it's the second biggest economy in the United States. It's a very easy place to find a job in almost any field that you want to go into. And one of the advantages of going to such a small school like Marymount that has less than 700 students is the fact that when we do get job opportunities available, you're not competing with thousands of students for those jobs. You're competing with just a handful of students. So it's very easy to place you in amazing places. Again, everywhere from SpaceX to Disney to Chase Bank or Los Angeles Attorney's offices, they're all available to our students. So some of the things that make Marymount special is the real world learning. Almost all of our students, about close to 80 to 90% of our students, by the time they reach their second year, have at least applied and are getting into some type of internship. We feel at Marymount that one of the things that smaller universities like us do very well is that we prepare you for what comes after college. So instead of being someone that's just focused on getting your degree and moving on to the next step, which was kind of what I did as an undergraduate, we really prepare you for what comes next. So Are you planning on working? Are you planning on taking some time off? Are you planning on going to graduate school, law school, medical school, whatever it is you're planning to do? We're going to make sure that you have not just the degree, but the experience, the network, the resume, the LinkedIn profile, everything you need, the experience you need to actually get that job coming straight out of school, which sometimes some schools aren't able to focus on as much because they just have so many students. With a population of less than 700 students per class, we're able to do that. Very satisfying careers for all of us students. I can go over the kinds of jobs that our students get. We're able to help you graduate in 4 years. So our success rate of being able to help students graduate within 4 years, we actually guarantee it. It's something that we do for students who meet the minimum requirement in their grades. It's very easy to do as long as you do what you need to. We'll offer you whatever you need, including free tutoring and anything else that's required. The idea of small means more. So if you're at a university like ours, you are not going to have any teacher assistants. It's your professor teaching you. When we say that it's 15-to-1 ratio, we don't mean that you're in a classroom with a professor and 3 TAs and 60 students. We mean that you're in a classroom with just 15 people, including your professor. Looks like I have just 1 more minute. Something else I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about is the degrees that we offer really quickly. So if you're interested in Marymount, California University, we offer about 9 different degrees, the biggest being business, biology, criminal justice, and psychology. And even within each of these degrees, there's a lot of different options. So for business, for instance, you could be entrepreneurship, management, marketing, financing, accounting, sports management. So if you're interested in this, I would love to meet you and talk to you more. I'll put my information in the comment section. But we're definitely a good school for you if you're looking to live in Los Angeles, go to a small school, have real connection to your professors, and have all the resources that you need to be successful in and coming out of college. So thank you.
Armando, thank you so much to you and Marymount California University. I'd now like to invite all of our panelists to turn back on their cameras. And we're going to go round robin and answer a couple of questions depending on how much time we have. The first one is, what do you want students to remember about your institution specifically? So we'll start with Carlos and go in that same order you presented in.
Wow, that's a tough question. You started us off with the tough one. Something that I would want students to remember about our campus, I think of how open it is. And I would say don't take that for granted. Really get to know the residential area, whether that's Old Town Orange, which is maybe like a 5-minute walk away, or even just the friendly people that inhabit the neighborhoods. I think that's something that a lot of students really appreciate, being a part of a nice community like that. And at times it is a little bit louder, but also quiet too. So just that openness of our campus.
All right, definitely a great question. I think that as an alumni, I can definitely tell you that the community is something that I remember the most of my campus, that student life, so many opportunities to do, so many clubs to join, so many programs that you can join and to meet like-minded individuals. There's amazing things that you can do. As I mentioned, Santa Clara's philosophy is to educate the whole person. So yes, academics is important, but we also want our students to get involved. And so I think that that's definitely something that stays with you. The alumni network is amazing. We have, because we're the oldest institution in California, we do have a very strong alumni network. So I definitely think that that's another opportunity that really stays with you after you graduate. You still have, those opportunities for you to communicate with alumni and to seek out for more opportunities offered. So definitely great things, but amazing question. Thank you for asking.
This is where it helps you're the third person because you had some time to think about it. So I think what I would say about Scripps, what I would really want to share is the power of a women's college. I think, again, for a lot of the students who are considering or end up applying to Scripps who weren't considering a women's college. So just recognizing it's not for one type of student, if whether you're the student who's already a leader or who's still strengthening their voice or kind of right in the middle of both, or like, you don't need to be a specific type of applicant to thrive at a women's college. Again, it's just being in a setting that is rooting for the success of your peers, where you have a very similar experience in being a marginalized identity. So I think that's what I'll say.
I would definitely say that the thing I want students to remember the most about Whittier College is our diversity. I mean, so we're a Hispanic-serving institution, but truly Whittier College students, this is a home for anyone from anywhere. And we recently got, which we're extremely thankful for, and we're really putting it to good use, a huge donation from Mackenzie Scott, which really was a big pat on the back for us for all the things that we're doing for diversity and for our students from different backgrounds. So I would say that right now, more than anything, that's where our focus is and where we really want to be giving all of our attention back to.
For Pitzer, I definitely think that students that are interested in one kind of takeaway is I was talking to one of our tour guides even just this week, and they were saying of like the type of student at Pitzer is the one that would say, yeah, but why? And I think that that kind of phrase really culminates the Pitzer student, where they're very much always wanting to improve, whether it be their community, themselves. Very much, I think that that social justice mindset is there, but they're always doing it for themselves and for others. I think that it's not just kind of that kind of like drive to be driven, it's really for the benefit of all. Our students are very much mindful for the future.
Yeah, well, what I would like everybody to remember about Marymount would probably be the idea of small meaning more. So I'll use myself as an example. As an undergraduate student, I went to a very big public university with 20, 30,000 students. And whenever I needed help sometimes, I didn't get it as easily as I could have if I had gone to a smaller school. So you have to know yourself. There's great things about big universities. There's great things about small universities, but you really have to figure out how much help do I need? How much help do I want? And do I want to go to a school where I can easily walk into somewhere and everybody's going to know who I am and get that kind of assistance? If that matters to you, then maybe consider the size of school you want to go to, and Marymount would be happy to have you.
So we are out of time, so I will offer one quick piece of advice. These are amazing professionals on the screen here, and they are here to help you. So I hope that you will use them as you progress through the college search process and ask them any question that your little heart desires, because that's what they love to do. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Best wishes through your college search process. As you close out, there'll be a quick 5-question survey. So we hope that you'll provide us with some feedback. And this was recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/WACAC, along with all of the recordings from this evening. Best wishes with your college search, everyone, and have a good one. Bye-bye.